starts now. Good evening, I'm Kevin Christopher.
And I'm Angie Bevan, in for Nancy Cox. Thanks for joining us at 6. Certainly was cold out there today. Tomorrow, things will get even worse.
So we begin with Bill, who shows us what to expect.
Starts with a wind chill advisory that goes into effect in the hours after midnight tonight, runs until after the noon hour tomorrow for wind chills that will be 10 and 20 below zero. As we get you to 3 o'clock in the morning, you see most of us hovering around that 0-degree mark, perhaps a little bit less cold as we look towards southeast Kentucky. By 7 in the morning, our wind chills, you can see those going to in the 10 below range. The thing is, the winds will be increasing tomorrow morning. When that happens, our wind chills will continue to get colder. So you're seeing those dropping then 10 to 15 below, or perhaps even more. By the time we're at 11 o'clock and noon, we're pushing 20 below zero on the wind chills, and that will only ease slightly into the hours after noon, but will still remain below zero throughout the day tomorrow with those wind chills. At the moment, wind chills are running about positive 10 as opposed to the negative 10 that's coming in later on tonight and tomorrow. Thermometers, that's what you actually can see outside. Low and mid 20s at the moment. We're also looking at the potential for a little snow coming this way. Not much, but just a little added kick to winter. We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes.
All right, Bill, see you then.
And as the temperatures drop even lower over the next couple of days, it can easily become dangerous.
And that's why Lexington city officials want everyone to keep warm and safe. LEX 18's Carolina Buchek is live in Lexington to begin our Storm Tracker team coverage.
Well, if you're going to be heading outside, bundle up. I am, and let me tell you, it is already so cold. And the bad news is, well, you heard Bill say it, it is only going to get worse. Keep in mind, frostbite does not take very long in these low temperatures. So that is why the city wants everyone to remain safe. That's what the city officials talked about today during a press conference. They say that frostbite, like I said earlier, kicks in within a few minutes when these temperatures get so low. So make sure you are dressed to handle this cold. Check on neighbors and bring your pets inside. Now, this cold is just as dangerous to animals as it is to people. And of course, this weather will be tough on the homeless. There are beds at the Catholic Action Center, but every year there are people who choose to stay outdoors. And luckily, this year's homeless count falls during this cold stretch, so people will be checked on.
Volunteers will also use the count as an opportunity to engage unsheltered people in targeted outreach.
Now, as far as the roads and streets go, the city says that is the good news. They are expected to be okay because, like Bill said, not too much precipitation expected. As far as trash collection goes, there are changes, and we will have those on our website. That's lex18.com. Covering the news live in Lexington from the LEX18 mobile newsroom. Back to you.
The frigid temperatures expected tomorrow morning have led Fayette County schools to cancel classes.
Connor McHugh is live at Frederick Douglass High School with more about the decision.
Aside from a few basketball games and extracurricular activities tonight, Fayette County students will not be heading back inside their classrooms until Thursday. And if this bitter cold stays in our area, it could be even longer. Now, the school district made the decision earlier today, calling off all classes and school activities for Wednesday. Spokeswoman Lisa Defendahl says the decision comes in light of forecasts calling for dangerously cold temperatures. Tomorrow morning, we could see them get down to the single digits, which would present plenty of complications and potential dangers for kids who aren't dressed properly or the ones who wait at bus stops or have to walk home from school. The district says it has not yet made any decisions about Thursday or Friday when it comes to canceling or having any delays. They say they have a team who is looking at the different forecasts, and they will make that decision with plenty of time for parents. We're covering the news live in Lexington. Connor McHugh, LEX 18 News.
All right, Connor, thanks. And like we've said, students are out because temperatures that cold can be dangerous on the body.
Yeah, we also talked to a nurse practitioner about what you can do to stay safe too. Tiffany Jackson continues our Storm Tracker team coverage.
Michael Watts says he picked a bad day for his weekly walk at the UK Arboretum.
Oh, I usually don't come out when it's this cold. I don't know why I'm doing it today.
He says when the temperatures drop, he bundles up, but he tries to differentiate between cold and dangerous.
Yeah, I won't be out here very long.
Nurse practitioner Bill Longworth says if you do plan to go outside, whether you have to or not, layering up is important to staying safe, as well as covering your extremities.
The nose, the earlobes, the fingers, the toes, any of those tinier parts of the body that don't have as much blood flow, and we don't often even cover them up.
He says frostbite can set in quicker than we may realize.
You're looking at things like first the initial cold, some burning. Your skin might even become waxy and start to feel firm.
Longworth says if that happens, get inside and let your hands or feet soak in warm water. He says to avoid anything too hot because a drastic change in temperature can be damaging as well. If you'll be working or doing other physical activities in the cold, your body will be working extra hard to keep you warm, which could lead to a heart attack.
Certainly if you have any types of chest pain or shortness of breath, take a rest, get back inside.
His advice for the next couple days, just stay inside if you can. Covering the news in Lexington, Tiffany Jackson, LEX 18 News.
So with temperatures and wind chills dipping to seasonal lows, restaurants are doing everything they can to keep the cold out and the customers coming in.
LEX 18's Michael Burke continues our Storm Tracker team coverage with that story.
If Glenn Cox knows one thing, it's how to keep the drinks flowing, even on an outdoor patio, during a polar vortex.
It's about a 30-degree difference from what's out there to what's in here once these heaters get up and going.
All right, so if we have a wind chill of minus 30, then it's 0. How much do you actually have to drink to sit out here?
Just enough.
From Bear and the Butcher's wrap patio to the layers they've added just to get inside a busy place like Ramsey's.
If we didn't have this, we wouldn't be able to seat the front area of our restaurant.
And that would be costly during the cold. Over at Josie's, which is also a 2-door entrance, business is hot, especially when it's cold.
People want to come out, they want to be a part of, they want the camaraderie. It just makes you feel better to be in a warm place with people that you love.
Or maybe it's the warm food they prefer at a spot like Babalu's on Nicholasville, also bunkered down with double doors.
We're kind of going for like a heartier meal for the cold weather. We have fresh cream and tomato soup, anything that's, like I said, hearty, warm.
But sometimes it's just a warm welcome that does the trick.
That's why we do everything we can to let the guests know, hey, we can go there. It's going to be nice, warm, cozy. Let's go watch the game. Let's go have a nice dinner. Let's brave the cold.
We'll have to be very brave over the next couple of days. Covering the news in Lexington, Michael Burke, LEX 18 News.
And remember, you can get the latest forecasts and closings anytime on our website, lex18.com. And you can take that information with you when you're on the go with our free LEX 18 Storm Tracker weather app. Fayette County health officials are warning parents after another case of pertussis or whooping cough was confirmed in a Lexington school. The newest case is a student at Athens-Charlesburg Elementary. And this is the third confirmed case in Lexington this year, following one at Tates Creek High and another at Henry Clay High School. Whooping cough is a highly contagious respiratory illness, and it's spread by coughing and sneezing.
A nationally known search and rescue group is in town and ready to get to work tomorrow to look for a missing Madison County mother, but the weather could cause problems.
Now, this Friday, it'll be 4 weeks since Savannah Spurlock vanished. Lee Searcy has more about the newest tactic in the search for her.
2-year-old Pepper and her handler, Tony Wade, are ready to put their skills to work to try and find 22-year-old Savannah Spurlock.
Pepper specializes in track trail, searching for people on foot, and she specializes in HRD, which is human remains detection, both land and aquatic.
Wade says Pepper can detect a scent in water 87 feet deep. Of course, that's a skill no one hopes she has to use in the search for Savannah. The Cajun Coast Search and Rescue will have up to 4 handlers and dogs scouring whatever areas Richmond police want them to cover. Savannah was last seen January 4th, leaving a Lexington bar with 3 men. Last week, there was a development with the white man seen in this security photo. LEX 18 was at his parents' home in Garrett County when police executed a search warrant and seized this white car. All 3 men have been questioned and deny having anything to do with Savannah's disappearance. Tony Wade knows what her family is going through. The not knowing excruciating.
I went through the situation. My grandparents were kidnapped and murdered some 30 some odd years ago. that's what led me into what I do today.
Covering the news in Lexington, Lee Searcy, LEX 18 News.
Well, tomorrow's freezing temperatures may impact how long Wade and his team can actually get out there and search.
An investigation is underway after 3 men were found dead inside a Lexington apartment today. Officers and firefighters were called to the Cabana Royal Arms Apartments on Georgian Way just after 1 o'clock this afternoon. That's off Lane Allen Road. The manager of the complex found the bodies after doing a welfare check. Police say the coroner will have to determine the official cause of death, but they do suspect the men died from an overdose.
Due to the weather, we thought it might be CO related or maybe gas related or something. It was not. So there's no danger to any of the surrounding apartments or the area.
The men's names have not been released. We're told one of the men lived in that apartment while the other 2 were visiting.
Today, jurors in the civil trial for Kentucky Senator Rand Paul visited the scene where Paul's neighbor attacked him in 2017. A doctor later took the stand detailing the injuries Senator Paul suffered. And Rene Boucher, the man convicted of tackling Paul, also took the stand, apologizing profusely about his role in the attack. Senator Paul broke a number of ribs when Boucher tackled him as he mowed his lawn back in 2017. Boucher was sentenced to 30 days in prison. In the civil trial, Paul is asking for $1.5 million in damages. And a man who ran in the primary for Lexington's mayor is throwing his hat in the race for governor. Ike Lawrence of Lexington, a Republican, entered today. His lieutenant governor candidate is James Rose. Now, today was the deadline to file paperwork to run for state office in Kentucky. Lawrence joins Governor Matt Bevin, State Representative Robert Goforth, and Northern Kentucky businessman William Woods in the primary. On the Democrats' side, former State Auditor Adam Edelin, House Minority Floor Leader Rocky Adkins, Attorney General Andy Beshear, and Jeff Young are all running for that nomination.
Still ahead, some educators in Woodford County are trying to break the stigma behind alternative schools.
Watch how they're making a difference for their students next on LEX 18 News at 6.